Then when you've got Angel screaming, Angel does it again. And
that was something, right?
That was something.
I'm sorry, you canceled the support for the game a month ago.
Why would they even host a trade?
I don't know.
And I sit down and he picks up one donut and eats it. So you want to like QA games?
When the rubber meets the road, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I don't like seeing Mario get his skull smashed.
Oh, I would love
It
to see
doesn't
that.
work.
I would love to see
Yeah,
that.
again, like I said.
Welcome to BattlefieldOne Podcast, the best Battlefield-related podcast on the planet. My name is Tom, also known as the Lanky Soldier. Welcome to this amazing show, and I'm being joined by Andre. How are you doing, Andre?
One day closer to death, but another reason to live is GTA 6.
Optimistic as hell. So we're changing we're changing the form a little bit. So we basically doing an intro, I guess at the end as we're done recording, because we want to, some stuff happening in the background regarding BattlefieldOne Podcast and all that kind of stuff. So in this particular episode, we talked about the blog post that got posted from Battlefield Studios, from DICE a couple of hours ago. They basically talk about the progress with the playtest, what they learned, what they achieved, all that kind of stuff. What's the future for the playtest once they haven't announced when the game is coming out, but we discussed that because GTA 6 got, they announced the release date. We talked about that because every publisher is avoiding GTA 6 like the plague. So, and because GTA 6 is coming for the May 2026 date, so people are speculating, is the next Battlefield game is going to be this year, or is it going to be March, is it going to be February, whatever the case may be. Andre thinks it's going to come out this year. I think it's going to come out March, but we talk about that. The whole discussion was about that, and we also talked about if the game is gonna be like controversial in some sense, because loads of things happening. Maybe the game is maybe they're biting way too much, because it's gonna be a single player, there's gonna be a multiplayer, there's gonna be a battle royale, all that kind of stuff, and there's of course a complementary mode to battle royale. There's loads of stuff happening, and we're thinking, is it gonna be too much or not? And new playtests happening in a couple of days, investor call happening. So if you're listening this after the investor call happened, and you probably learned something about the next Battlefield game, we're literally recording a couple of hours before the investor call, so we have no idea what's going to be announced, but I had some predictions, so those predictions I'm gonna be talking on this episode. I can't remember, what was your prediction, Andre, regarding the investor call?
You'll hear it in the episode.
Touche. Anyway, so enjoy the conversation, guys. It's an hour long, really good conversations. We talk about all of that. And let me know how you enjoy this new format. Do you like it? Whatever is on your mind, go to the show notes, let us know, and a small tease of what we're working on in the background. So listen till the end and everything. And of course, check out patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Hear about it more in the middle of the show. And that's gonna it. Thank you guys for listening and enjoy the conversations. So the first topic of the day is basically Battlefield released a blog post. A blog post is about basically the whole development that happened in the last 2 months. So for the last month and a half, I'd say, I can't remember when's the first playtest happened. Start of April, I think, right? I think it was start of April.
I'm pretty sure.
So the start of April, we got our first playtest. Since then, we had 3 playtests with 3 different maps, 3 different focus ideas, whatever I want to call it, focusing on 3 different things, netcode, gunplay, just how the game feels, all that kind of stuff. And we learned a lot of things from those playtests, loads of new things. It kind of paints a nice picture what we can expect from the next Battlefield game. And they basically released a blog post for explaining what's happening in the future and what we can expect. I'm not gonna read the whole blog post because there's no point, because you can read it yourself. But basically, I'm just gonna read 3 paragraphs, and that's it. And we'll go from there. So, Battlefield developers, Battlefield Labs, Battlefield Studios released a blog post, and it says, I quote, Oh, sorry. I actually, before I read that, let me quickly have water because I had water before I record. Okay, here we go.
Delicious.
Yeah, I know. So, in February, we announced Battlefield Labs as our most ambitious community collaboration in franchise history to validate the future of the Battlefield franchise. Today, we'll update you on our initial learnings and how we continue to scale things, testing things into the future. Across our 4 initial play sessions... Wait, there was 4? Oh yeah, there was 4. Sorry, I apologize. I said, I apologize. There was 3 playtests, and 4 playtests, not 3 playtests. Regardless, if you hear a plane in the background, I'm so sorry, people. As you know, regular thing, yeah. So anyway, across 4 initial play sessions with small group of core Battlefield players across Europe and North America, we completed thousands of hours of gameplay, had hundreds of thousands of players spawns, and seen over 1 million environmental objects destroyed, including walls, windows, crates, buildings, your squad crashed, the helicopter into, and so on. The players in these sessions have helped us successfully validate the following areas: establishing a solid foundation for the smooth, low latency and high performance gunplay, finding the right balance in movement speed for functionality such as crouch sprint, combat rolling, and vaulting as part of our combat pacing initiatives, using destruction to create fun and lasting tactical gameplay across rounds and experiences. Okay, the rest is not important. And they say, what's next? Now that we wrapped the initial server performance and stability concerns, we validated a solid foundation for core Battlefield experience. We're now ready to continue scaling Battlefield Labs testing globally. Throughout May, we'll be inviting more players across Europe and North America, and we'll start to include selected areas in Asia. The rest is nothing important. Just say, oh, we're gonna test new content, destruction is important, and so on and blah blah blah. Read old updates about gunplay and destruction and so on. So, this blog post, like, we've been covering Battlefield news for a really long time, and this blog post tells us nothing. If this is just corporate jargon, all that kind of stuff, right? This is just corporate speak, marketing speak. Why wouldn't you say, well? But what we can learn is that they have an idea what they want for the next Battlefield game. At least that's the impression I'm getting reading this. They know what they want for the next Battlefield game, and they kind of want to look in that stable build that they can like work on and say like, yeah, this is our Battlefield game that is gonna come out later this year or next year, whatever the case may be. And I mean, so far good news, I guess. Like it's fine. Everything they said is fine. Also, people that I've been seeing loads of comments saying like, oh, I want to get in the playtest and everything and so on, and like, let me in. I'm just gonna say this for people listening. It's fine that you're not in the playtest. Me and Andre not in the playtest. We're literally not in the playtest. And like I said in the previous episodes, it's a blessing in disguise. You know, because we can talk about it, we can discuss it and everything. And what David Sterling said is basically, was a couple of weeks ago, he said, it's fine that you're not in the playtest because this is just exploring, you know, the idea what the next game is, how it's gonna feel and everything. So all the feedback, you know, all the Battlefield veterans giving us, you know, you and me giving feedback about the next game, it's kind of pointless because everything's gonna change anyway, because they still don't have that, you know, initial locked build, you know, that foundation for the game. Yeah, they have a foundation, but it's like, but things are changing as they go. Things will change and everything. You don't know how the game is gonna be, because all we know, the game is gonna be different, you know, from now on. You know, in the next couple of playtests, it could be different.
Let me just tell you one thing that differentiates you and me. The thing is, you're not getting invited, but you're signed up. I'm not getting invited because I'm not signed up, and it will stay that way. I've told myself that I will go in somewhat blind. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the leaks and everything, but eventually that will stop too. You know, I'm also pretty sure I will not play the beta and not look at any footage of it and just pick it up myself and see how it is on launch. At least that's my plan. But yeah, I'll see.
I mean, it's good that people can get invited. Like, more people will be playing the game and so on. But honestly, if I don't get invited, it's fine. You know, at the end, I'm okay to wait for the beta, if that's the case. You know, sure, it would be nice to play, but until the day NDA is there, I really don't want to be in, honestly. Because, I'm only one human being. What the hell I'm gonna change, you know? Sure, I'm gonna have some, you know, dopamine hit of a new Battlefield game for like 30 minutes, and after that, like, okay, it's just a playtest, things will change and so on, so I don't really care. But I don't know, like, so far what we've seen, I think it's a really positive experience so far. I never imagined they're gonna do, like, you know, Battlefield CTE, but they're doing Battlefield CTE before the launch of the game. And just because it exists, that's a good thing. And I think we mentioned a couple episodes ago, it's a good thing that, like, everything we've seen so far, so much better than Battlefield 2042 ever was, in terms of, like, before the release. Yeah, the trailers look great and everything and so on. But as soon as you play that Battlefield 2042 alpha, oof.
Big oof.
Oof, that was rough. That was so freaking rough. I'm like, I don't want to experience that ever again. And then you look at this alpha, night and day difference. So, yeah, so far, Battlefield Studios, they're doing a really good job. Well, in this case, DICE. DICE is doing a really good job with the playtest. They're doing the right things. They're saying the right things. Will that be, you know, will that energy will transfer to the launch day? Different story. But so far so good. I'm impressed. I'm still excited about this game. I'm still really excited. Looking forward to everything. And this blog post, of course, didn't tell us anything new. It just basically confirms, like, yeah, okay, we have an idea what we want for this new game. We kind of have a vision what we want to do. So, now, of course, moving on to the next subject of this whole thing, it kind of raises like a couple of questions. Okay, so if the alpha is looking great, it's moving to the right direction. Of course, there's loads of question marks and everything, sure. When's the game going to be releasing? And the thing is, as you already, like, before we start recording, you were watching the GTA6 trailer.
Yeah, and let me say one thing. Usually, at least from what I remember, is that Battlefield usually gets announced in like March, right? That hasn't happened.
March, May,
yes.
May, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
May, June.
If they are aiming for a 2025 release date or want to release it before GTA6, there should be an official announcement, trailer, and release date by next month, maybe. Otherwise, I'm not going to see this game until late 2026.
You know, okay, so we're recording this on the 6th of May. Today, there's going to be an investors call by EA. So there's going to be EA investor call today. You're going to be listening to this after the investor call. So whatever they're going to announce at the investor call, I'm sorry, but we're recording literally hours before that. So I'm sorry if our news is not up to date. But the reason why that investor call really matters, because it's kind of funny that as soon as this trailer dropped, Battlefield Studios basically released this blog post saying, yeah, we have a build now. We have some sort of idea what we want to make. And like 2 hours after the trailer dropped. Of course, it just could be a coincidence. Doesn't mean that it has to be like, because these kind of things, like this kind of stuff, like it's getting planned way ahead. You know, it gets a bit, and apparently there's a new play test in 3 days on Friday. So it could be just a coincidence, but it feels like how are they gonna announce at the investor call? There's only two things will happen at that investor call. My prediction: they will either, with this blog post that was dropped, and everything that's happening in the background, feels like the GTA being postponed till next year's May. Basically tells me they aiming for the 2025 release. So two things will happen. One of the two things will happen on the investor call. They will say this game is coming out holiday 2025, or they will be vague again about the release date and say, yeah, the development of the game is going really well, everything is smooth and all, and they will also, of course, mention the success of Battlefield Labs. One of these two things will happen at that investors call today.
I don't know, man. I feel like if... I'm really torn on this. I don't think they will say anything about a release date on the investors call. And with...
So you're going with option number 2 then?
Not really either. You know, with developers shadow dropping big titles and Rockstar just shadow dropping the GTA trailer, maybe they're just shadow dropping the announcement with a release date.
You think so?
Because I can see it kind of. I mean, this kind of like shock and awe tactic, right? Where like, oh no, hell no, they're not doing this. Or,
See,
I don't know.
it works for GTA because it's a big game, because you know it's gonna make loads of money.
Yeah, but it also worked with Oblivion. I mean, yeah, they
but
announced a
Oblivion's a
live stream,
remaster.
but...
You know?
Sure. I mean, look at Apex Legends. It also worked for Apex Legends, so it has worked before.
See, Apex Legends was desperate because Respawn was not doing great. That was their last chance of making the studios, you know, making survive.
Survival.
Yeah, that was survival.
Yeah.
It was flight or fight at that point. That's why Apex Legends, like, you know,
but
we have nothing.
still.
We have to do it. We either do it or we fucked.
I mean, listen, expectations are high for this game, right?
I think they're
I
really
mean-
high. Yeah.
They have to do something out of the ordinary, because announcing a live stream, then having some fucking comedian introduce the new game to us, making bad jokes, I don't think they're going to do that ever again.
You know,
hopefully.
I have a confession. As I
Sure.
was inside, I was literally 20 meters away from, what's his name? Noah. His name is I can't
Trevor
remember.
Noah, I think?
Yeah, Trevor Noah, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
right? I was 20 meters away from him during that live stream.
You probably cringed so hard.
I cringed, but at the same time thinking, well, this is my kind of dumb humor, so... And then, of course, when I came home and I checked the stats, how people reacted to the Battlefield 5 reveal, and I'm like, oh, people hate it. Because I got a different impression from the studio, you know, which is quite funny. But... Okay, so with Battlefield, GTA6 being postponed till May next year, a lot of game developers, a lot of studios like, oh, okay, we can release our games this autumn, this holiday season.
Listen, I think we both know that this was going to happen from the start anyways.
That the game,
That wasn't coming out in 2025. With all of the background talk and these game...
You talking about
game
Battlefield or GTA?
journalists? No, I'm talking about GTA.
Oh, okay. Apparently,
Game journalists have been saying it before that the game is not going to come out this year. You know,
Yeah,
background
true,
talk
yeah.
with their inside information, stuff like that. I've seen it coming, to be honest. Also, if the game was coming out this year, they would have dropped a second trailer way before, like a couple of months ago. You know, the
Actually, you do have a
the,
point.
fir-
yeah.
the first trailer got released, I think, in December 23. So there should have been one in December 24. Because if I remember correctly, you can correct me on this, or anyone listening, that exactly 1 year after the first Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer, they released the second one. I think that's also why people predicted that in December 24 there should have been a trailer for GTA 4, but there wasn't. So there already people were speculating that the game is not going to come out in 2025. And I'm going as far and say that they won't hit the May 26th release date for next year either.
You think so?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I can actually believe that.
Okay, I'm going with guessing and out of my mind again, because I'm too lazy to look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure that they have delayed Red Dead Redemption 2 twice as well. And that's also something I read on Reddit today, I think, that people, or the people on the Reddit comments, they're also not very certain or hopeful that the game is going to release on the set date that they have just announced.
Okay. But going back on Battlefield, do you think Battlefield is releasing this year though?
Could be. I'm not very hopeful for it.
I'm still thinking March 2026. Because here's the thing. Okay, it all depends what they're gonna say at the investor call. Like I said, these two things will happen. They will either confirm that it's coming holiday 2025, or they're gonna be vague about the release date and they're just gonna say Battlefield Labs is a huge success. The development of this game is fantastic and going really well. We're looking forward to maximize our shareholder value in the future because the game is gonna be bombastic. So these two things will happen. One of these two things.
Good thing I'm not a shareholder of EA.
Yeah, one of these two things will happen. Because it's the first time, because of GTA6, EA in CEO is very vague about the release date. We knew because back in for the last 10 years, we knew when the game is coming out, at least not the maybe exact date, but we knew when the period when it's coming out, right? It's coming out this holiday 2025, 2016, 17, whatever. We knew when it's coming out, in what time frame. This time around, we don't know what time frame. Andrew Wilson is literally saying 2026 fiscal year, which ends on April next year. So
true, I remember that. But the thing is that if they are really going to aim for a holiday 2025 release date, you can bet your ass that there will be some real crunch work ahead for the developers. If the CEO sets its mind to it and they have to push it out, then it won't be smooth sailing. Yeah, in my opinion.
So of course everyone's of course people will speculate. The reason he's vague is because of GTA6, because it's a big game. Every developer, every publisher wants to avoid that release date. That being said,
listen, I'm going to make a prediction. Okay?
Yeah, go on.
And if I'm right, you can spread it on the internet. I'm going to say the game is coming out on November 14th, 2025.
Why November 14th?
November 14th, 2025 is my prediction for Battlefield 5.
Why 14th?
I mean Battlefield, whatever it's called, not Battlefield 5. We already had that one.
Well, it is a Friday, yeah. So why that specifically?
I don't know. I just have a feeling that it might come out sometime around there. Let's say plus minus 1 or 2 weeks. But I'm going to say the 14th of November 2025. Quote me on that.
Okay. I still think betting is going to be 2026 March. And the reason is because Battlefield Labs exist. If any of you played Battlefield CT back in the day and how long it took them to gather all the feedback, of course, the feedback is not going to drive development, but it does change some aspects in development. Be like, oh, people don't really like it. Maybe we can change it a little bit, so on. Like, Battlefield Labs exist. I don't think this is just just for the get some data. Yeah, of course, it's just to get some data, but I don't know. It's just I think Battlefield Labs it was released a month ago. All these 4 playtests that happened with 3 different maps and everything, I don't know. Like, just doesn't give me that feeling that this game is gonna be, ready for this year. Like, yeah, sure, it looks so much better than Battlefield 2042, but the problem is, EA knows that, DICE knows that, every freaking studio working on this game knows this. This Battlefield game has to be a fucking success. You can't have another Battlefield 5. You can't have another Battlefield 2042. You cannot, the trust in the Battlefield community is so freaking low. Releasing just an okay Battlefield game is already sure, people will accept it, but
it can't be worse than 2042. And
well, one can hope, yeah, one can only hope. And also, it's just the expectations for this game are also huge. Not only that, it's the most expensive Battlefield game ever. Because
go on. Let's take a look real quick. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, that's fine, go on.
You see how Battlefield 3 released. We see how Battlefield 4 released. Battlefield 5, 2042, I don't know how many times you can redeem yourself. I mean, we could also look at CD Projekt Red, for example. I'm going to make that comparison now. I think with The Witcher, they learned from Battlefield, to not release a broken game. That's why they pushed back The Witcher. Another thing I'm not sure about. It's just from my memory. But then we know how Cyberpunk came out, right? And, they made the game great again. Something that they didn't do with 2042. But, the question is, how many times can you fuck up and redeem yourself and get away with it,
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm on the same boat as you. You can't really fuck up this release. It has to be solid. I mean, if you release an okay game, stable, somewhat fun, people will remember it as an okay game, but it won't make headlines.
Yeah.
Both positively and negatively. If that's a good thing or not, not sure. But it's still better than getting absolutely bombarded with negative reviews and hate from your fan base,
I mean, now I'm thinking about, releasing just an okay game that just works, it's fun and so on, maybe basic, maybe bare bones in some cases. Maybe it's not a bad thing just because it will, give that little...
You can still build.
Yeah,
you can still build
exactly.
on top of it. You can make an okay game really fucking good,
If
you have a good foundation, and then you build on it, I rather prefer that than them releasing a shitty game, building the foundation, and then trying to make it good.
Yep, pretty much. And also, I think, was it 2-3 months ago, there was a former DICE developer talking about the history of the development of previous Battlefield games and his predictions and his thoughts about the next Battlefield game. And he said that this game is basically a reset point for the franchise. It's to get the trust back. So nothing too ambitious, nothing too, crazy, whatever. Just make a basic-ass Battlefield game.
Yeah.
But a basic-ass Battlefield game that can be, expanded and grown in the future as time goes on. That's why you have a single player coming. That's why you have a multiplayer coming. That's why you have a battle royale coming. Now, of course, people are going to question, isn't that a bit too much for one game to, be the start, that reset point, and you already, you have this so many moving pieces? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. As long as you build a good foundation and you build from there, yeah. And also people say, oh, why are they making a battle royale? Because they're taking the resources away. Well, resources are there regardless,
Listen, I can give you a good reason why Battlefield makes the better live service compared to Call of Duty.
Sure.
No yearly releases.
Yeah, that's
one big advantage of the franchise. What they really have to do is nail the post-launch content. Like I said, you could say that Labs is the foundation they're building. Release the game, and then make sure you put out enough content to keep it alive over the years, If you have a game that, you could even, this is my opinion now, don't release Battlefield every 3 years. Make one single platform and expand it. Like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, is in its year 10 now, If you have a great game, just build on top of it. Don't make a new one.
That's what I can't remember if that was the Investor Day from EA or whatever it was, but I remember the Battlefield group manager, whatever his title is, the Warzone creator, right? The guy that created Warzone, Byron Beatty. I remember he said, I don't know where he said, I don't remember. I think it was the Investor Day. He said that they want to build a platform for Battlefield. So this new game, like you said, would be nice to build a platform and just build from there. Ray been saying this for the last 8 years, since Battlefield 4 and so on. He's been saying that.
That is the sorry for interrupting you again.
No, that's fine.
But I think that is the biggest advantage Battlefield has, and it's also good in terms of revenue, right? Because if you release a new game every year, and you don't let people take their cosmetics with you to the next game, then it's wasted money, in my opinion, right? Look at Fortnite, for example. I spent a good amount of money on Fortnite, but I've also played it for 5 or 6 years, right? I could still download it right now and have all the cosmetics that I bought from 5, 6, 7 years ago, however long the game is out right now. So it doesn't feel like my money is wasted. And another thing with Battlefield, I guess it's a different thing, but for me, Battlefield just feels cheap. Just something that I shouldn't spend my money on, because the uncertainty when it comes to supporting your live service, right?
Yeah.
We saw how Battlefield 5 got abandoned. We saw how Battlefield 2042 got kind of abandoned. They did more work on it.
Yeah,
they did more work on it than Battlefield 5. But I don't remember, but I think Battlefield 5 never really got any milestones, right? Or what do you call it? Not milestones. You know what I mean, right?
I mean, people were happy with the Pacific update. I do remember that.
Yeah, sure, but we both know they probably had way more planned for it than that.
Oh yeah. There were that data mine stuff from the game.
Yeah.
Like there was Eastern Front, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there was like loads more.
I mean, by the way, I mean roadmaps. For example, let's get back to Rainbow Six Siege for a second. I started on year 3, and I've always wondered, how long are they going to support the game? How long are they going to? And I think a developer said, oh yeah, it will be at least 10 years. And when you hear a developer saying they're going to release support the game for 10 years, that's positive. Also, every year when they have their first competitive esports tournament of the year, they make an announcement for the whole year, a whole roadmap for the year. And that's something that EA should also do, because I don't... Again, I'm sorry for this, but I don't remember or know if Battlefield 2042 got any roadmaps. But
2042, yeah, each season.
Yeah,
But just for the season, not for the future.
yeah. See, that's another thing, because let's say it's January. There's a cosmetic coming out for $20, but I don't know their plans for the whole year. Maybe the game will stop its support after season 5, yada yada yada. I don't know. I just want. I mean, yeah, of course, I can still play the game after support has ended and everything, right? I can buy the cosmetic and not think about it. But like I said, with Fortnite, the game's running well. It has a player base. I know it's being supported, and I can enjoy it with friends as well. Because when support drops, eventually everyone will drop the game.
What's funny? So I remember hearing, like, when you say, like, Rainbow Six Siege, we're gonna be support for 10 years. I remember back in the day, people like, yeah, sure. And they did reach 10 years, funny enough. But then again, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face,
Yeah, true.
They probably had a plan for 2042. I remember hearing, like, oh, the Battlefield universe and so on. I'm like, really?
Just let me just... Sorry for interrupting you again.
Yeah, it's fine.
It will happen a lot more. But let me just explain something to the listeners. The thing with cosmetics and me talking and pitching about game support and everything. The thing is, I'm very mindful with what I spend my money on, right?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I fully agree with you. I'm really in the same mindset as you.
Like I've said, of course I can buy the cosmetics, and when support drops, I can still play the game. But it just feels wrong buying something knowing the game will be dead anyway soon.
Yeah.
That's something in the back of my head where I'm like, do I really need to spend money on a cosmetic? It doesn't really do much anyways. I still have fun in the game, so yeah. That's just my way of thinking. I need assurance that the game will still be alive and well kept for a good amount of time before I say, okay, this will be an investment for me, to have fun, for my character to look good, whatever, That is my reasoning behind it. I'm mindful what I spend my money on with. And, it also needs to feel like the game deserves my money, in terms of what content is coming out. Is it fun? What are developers doing with it? Stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Surprise! This was not time-stamped. We hope you're enjoying the show so far, but we need to stop for a second and tell you about some important stuff. Now that we have your attention, it's time to tell you all about our amazing Patreon that is helping us keep the show going. Patreon.com/TheLankySoldier.
Some Patreon exclusiveness. We
here at Patreon would love for
You sound like every nerd in all the 90s TV shows.
Battlefield 1 podcast was rebooted in March of 2023. We learned a lot of lessons from our previous shows that consisted of 41 episodes, and we've been building amazing foundations for the future with this current show. There's a reason why we're the best Battlefield-related podcast available on Spotify and anywhere else. We've also had the honor of being listened to by DICE, Ripple Effect, and other developers as well. Now, we want to share even more with you through our Patreon.
And I've never seen her. So I will be crying and yelling, and I will not be the same person I am right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of emotion. I know we're emotionally close and everything, but I don't think we're that emotionally close.
Yeah, that will be an experience of its own.
We want to thank everyone that has joined as a free member or subscribed to our Patreon in the last year. The support is greatly appreciated, always was, and always will be. It's amazing, and it only motivates us to continue with our Battlefield journey. By simply becoming a free member or even subscribing to any paid tier, you're not only supporting the show, but you're also getting a lot of content back in return.
Right, because Call of Duty gets so annoying sometimes, I actually got so desperate I installed League of Legends again.
The perks of any tier is you'll get ad-free early access to all of our future episodes. You can already listen to the previous episodes ads-free as well, simply by being a free member. There's no more waiting, no more interruptions, just pure unfiltered Battlefield content straight to your ear holes from our mouth holes and anywhere else. It's amazing, isn't it?
The only reason why CTE did as well as it did back in the day, guys, is because it wasn't locked down to secrecy. Those that couldn't participate were still able to see what was going on. That's the point that I'm getting at right now.
We're also giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into making the Battlefield 1 podcast or any other content we produce, from planning sessions to recording mistakes and everything in between. You'll get an insider's perspective on how we bring each episode to life pretty much from start to finish.
And the reason why I'm saying
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's your fault.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault, Ray. You ruined the whole show. We need to cancel it again.
Just gotta can it for another 8 months again. Just appear out of nowhere with
we need to cancel it again. Ray, what the fuck did you do?
And that's only Battlefield. We're also offering access to our exclusive Patreon podcast series, The Live Gaming Gathering. This is a show where friends and special guests get together and talk about everything from the video game industry to movies and whatever else is on our minds at that particular time. With more than 40 episodes already available, there's hours upon hours of content for you to listen to.
All right, I think we need to move on because we've been kind of on this subject for about the last 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
We got a couple of things in order.
Are you feeling better now? Let this
Yes,
thing off.
I do feel better. Oh no, wait, one more thing. For example, Angela. We were in discussion.
I'm not gonna mention any names.
Trust me, these are some of the most fun and amazing conversations we have ever had on the show. Because it's just us being us, relaxed and actually having fun. Almost like you're sitting alongside us with the conversation. Yeah.
So the reaction from the Fortnite community is like, okay, every time we see a Cybertruck in the server, it's our mission to drop everything we're doing and send that player back to the lobby.
We also believe in keeping our patrons informed, so we post monthly recaps to let you know what you probably missed during last month's episode, and we're making sure that you're not missing anything important. Just recently, we opened a brand new Discord server where people can talk to each other and get all of the latest updates about our content or the Lanky Soldier channel. Find the link in the description to this episode or at our Patreon. No subscription needed.
You
have been measured.
Yeah, you've been measured.
Because we're confident that you'll love the content we're creating, we're offering a free trial that you can use at any time. We believe we're making good content that will make you stay, and we would not be offering free trials if we didn't think so.
I've seen a lot of people literally get excited, you know what? This looks very familiar, clearly ripped from somewhere, but damn it, that looks good.
So, if you want to support the show and get all of these amazing extras, head on over to patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep delivering the content that you enjoy. Thank you for being part of the Battlefield community, and thank you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to seeing you on our Patreon. Now, let's get back to the show.
No, I fully agree with you. And them building a platform for the future sounds great on paper, so let's hope they can actually, commit to that and actually keep their word for that. Ray will be really excited because he's been saying this for the last 8 years, 10 years, saying Battlefield is the perfect game to be a platform for different experiences and still be Battlefield. Battlefield still can be a 64-player madness multiplayer experience, immersion, right? Then you can have a battle royale that still can feel like Battlefield game and be comparative to Warzone, for example. And then you still can have, let's say, 5-on-5 experience, you know, a Battlefield comparative mode and still be Battlefield game. And people that say, oh, 5-on-5 game mode will not work on Battlefield because it's not Battlefield. I'm sorry, Battlefield 1 Incursions. That was the truest Battlefield comparative experience you could ever have in your life. And it was amazing. That Battlefield 1 Incursions proved that Battlefield comparative can work.
I have one question for you real quick.
Yeah.
What the hell is a gauntlet?
Right, so we might as well move to that topic. So, remember last episode we were talking about leaked game modes and everything, what kind of list of game modes there will be?
Yeah.
So, someone determined some more, and there's some information about the game modes.
Yeah.
So, here's some information about the game modes. So, Conquest Small. You know what? I'm so glad Conquest Small is a thing in this game. Thank fuck. I love Conquest Small, so I'm glad that. Anyway, Breakthrough, Rush, TDM, Squad Deathmatch, Domination. Self-explanatory game modes. I don't think I have to explain to you what the hell those modes are. Sabotage, a game mode that got leaked. When attacking, sabotage as many enemy assets as possible. When defending, prevent the enemy from destroying your assets. So it's kind of search and destroy, but it sounds like there's multiple objectives. So, I guess...
I have an opinion real quick.
Yeah, go on.
And a thought, I guess. I'm not sure yet.
About this particular game mode or why?
No, about the topic that we're pushing into right now, but also
Just
the previous thing with support on the game. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So, you know, the issue I also see is that why do they want to appeal to as many players as possible?
Because the game is expensive as fuck.
Oh, duh, of course. But the thing is that how do you spread out your content, right? Because there's one thing that I didn't like about Call of Duty, for example, and that is that not every map, but most of the maps are just, let's take something from the Battle Royale map, put a border on it, and pull it into the multiplayer.
It worked in certain cases.
In certain cases, it did work, yes.
It just depends on the mode and map.
In a lot of cases, it also didn't.
Yeah. I mean...
I still think that...
It's just saving development time.
Yeah, of course it saves development time. Duh.
Yeah.
But, you know, handcrafted maps for multiplayer and for their specific game modes that they have in multiplayer is way better than, oh, whoopsie-doopsie, let's take that shit and put it in. You know, force it. Like a PG-13 can't say that.
Yeah, you can.
But, yeah, you know, if they have too many modes or, you know, like Battle Royale and multiplayer and Gauntlet and whatever... Will you have enough content, you know? Because not everyone will play Battle Royale, not everyone will play multiplayer.
We also have to assume that all these modes that got leaked are not gonna be on launch day, or not gonna gonna be active all the time. They could They could be like seasonal updates, whatever the case may be, limited time events, all that kind of stuff.
That's true.
I mean, crap. I'm looking at this list of modes that got leaked. I'm like, that's a lot of game modes, my dude. That's a lot of game modes. So naturally, I don't think all of them is gonna be there. Like even Call of Duty is struggling sometimes putting too many game modes, so they have to limit certain playlists to certain time. I mean, they
don't release too much.
Yeah.
Stick to whatever is good.
Yeah, but going back on this list that game modes that got leaked. For example, for the multiplayer section of this game is like Conquest, you know, or Breakthrough, all your regular stuff. Sabotage sounds like Search and Destroy, but Battlefield with a Battlefield spin on it. Escalation Raid, another mode. Fight to capture and hold objectives to extend your territory. First team to lock down 3 objectives wins. I mean, sounds kind of cool. Strike Point. I remember last episode we were talking that there was Strike Point 1, 2, and 3. We were thinking, why is that? It's because fight across multiple rounds to capture key objectives. Which...
Yeah, that is the discussion we had with operations.
Yep. So that could be...
I still want that back. Grand operations, but a little bit different with multiple game modes in one single map, each capture point. It would be so awesome.
And of course, there's payload, fight to escort, you escort fucking payload like every shooter these days, which is fine. That's fine. Good, okay mode. King of the Hill, of course, maintain control of the marked area to earn points. The first team to reach the target score wins. Basically, Battlefield 1 incursions back in the day.
Yeah.
Additional modes, incomplete data, prototype status. A game mode called Shutdown. I think Battlefield 2042 has that. Tank Hunt, Crimson, Gunmaster, Touchdown, Tug of War. Tug of War is basically what's the game mode called in Battlefield 1? The one with one flag and 5 objectives, but you only can capture one. I forgot what was the name of it. It wasn't.
Yeah, you're
Breakthrough.
asking too much of me.
Yeah. I remember I liked that game.
Maybe it was Breakthrough. Maybe it was Breakthrough.
Maybe it was called Breakthrough. Regardless, I remember I liked that mode in Battlefield 1, so it's kind of same thing. Fantastic Four Survive, so I guess some sort of squad elimination mode, squad shootout, and so on. Now, the Gauntlet bit you mentioned. So, like I said multiple times, there will be a multiplayer section of the game, there will be a single-player section of the game, and there will be the Battle Royale section of the game. So the Gauntlet mode is part of the Battle Royale section of the game. Seems like it.
Okay.
Seems like
Okay.
it. So you have your free-to-play element right there. So you have the free-to-play Battle Royale, and if you don't feel like playing Battle Royale and you don't own the game, there's a mode called Gauntlet. So like Call of Duty Warzone has Battle Royale, Resurgence, and Plunder, right? And maybe some LTM on the side. So it's basically the same premise here. Gauntlet is that for people that don't own the game, that just want to maybe have some Battlefield experience, level up the weapons, all that kind of stuff, whatever the case may be. So play some Gauntlet and just want. And Gauntlet is basically like, if you want to know more about that, just go to the last episode, people, just listen to that. And yeah, so it has like loads of modes. So these are called Circuit, Contract, Deadlock, Decryption, Extraction, Heist, Hotfire, Relay, Rodeo, Swarm, Territory, Vendetta, Wreckage. Of course, those names mean nothing to me, except Hotfire. I think that's the...
Isn't it from Hardline?
Hardline mode. I think it is. I presume it is.
Oh my god. Hell yeah, bring that back.
For people
that was
that,
awesome.
Yeah, for people that haven't played Battlefield Hardline, there was a mode called Hotfire. And it's basically Conquest on wheels. So
how the fuck are they going to do that with heavy ass machinery?
Well, it's probably just gonna be
hilarious.
it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, 3 transports or something like that, or whatever. Anyway, so instead of static objectives, the objectives were vehicles. As long as you had the vehicle in control and you're driving around, you're getting points and you control the point basically. And of course, people can destroy you and so on, and you lose the flag because the flag was the vehicle, and the vehicle respawns somewhere else, and you have to capture like that again. I remember it was very cheesy. It was like, if no one even went for you, you can steamroll teams really easily. But it was a fun mode.
You had so many fun moments, yeah.
It was a fun mode, I have to admit. Like, it was not perfect, but it was really fun. Can it work? Sure.
With the in-game voice lines of the operators and everything, oh my god, that was comedic gold sometimes. Oh.
I mean, it had some comedy. I'll give you that. So
Hardline is still the better Battlefield they released. Changed my mind.
Assuming that's what the mode is, could be just a similar name. That's all it is. But if it's that, sure. If it's that, cool. It's not a bad mode to bring back. That's just all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's like, but like as we already mentioned that, you mentioned that thing, like this will be a controversial game. It's doing, some people think it's doing too many things at once. Do you think that?
Possible. We don't know that yet.
See, I think it will be fine because I don't think it's gonna be like, as long as they, what's the word? Drip feed it. I know people hate the word drip feed. But I don't think you want to play all of this at once. I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Baby. I don't think you want to play this all at once. I think you want to release the game. You have your typical multiplayer Battlefield experience for a little bit. Of course, you have single player on the side. Then Battle Royale will come out, I don't know, maybe in a month or two. After like all the hype kind of come down and so on. Just everything chill. Then you can release the Battle Royale, hype is back again. You know, you have your leveled up weapons, whatever the case may be. You go to Battle Royale and enjoy it and so on. And then after that, you just jump around between, you know, sections of what you want to play. You know, it will create some sort of like, I don't know what's the word, balance, synergy, I don't know, it depends. Like, you know, it's not going to be like overwhelming, right? After that, you're just going to get used to it, what the game has to, you know, offer to you. And I think that's fine. I mean, I see nothing wrong, but I can already see the game is going to be controversial. Someone's going to bitch about something, you know?
Listen, I have a request to the developers.
Okay.
Please, for the love of God, make loadouts game-wide. And not you have your loadout slots for Battle Royale and you have your loadout slots for multiplayer. I hated that shit with fucking Call of Duty. I had all of my loadouts from multiplayer. You know, just let me take the loadouts from multiplayer and let me use them in Battle Royale, you know.
It's funny, you can actually do that now in COD right now. So you can
Finally!
Yeah,
after
I know.
like 20 fucking years. Holy shit.
Yeah, so you can actually make a weapon, some sort of loadout for your weapon, right? And you can transfer that easily to the Battle Royale section of the game, as long as you
thank
still,
fucking God.
So it's basically called global builds or something like that. So you basically build a gun and you can transfer like that build between multiplayer and Warzone,
sure.
Which is I mean, I have loads of requests. Like I have loads of requests for the Battle Royale section and everything. But anyway, step by step, right? Let's.
You know, yeah. But listen, you know, one of the reasons why I didn't play COD with you yet.
Because you suck.
Exactly because of that.
Well, here you go. Yeah, I told you that's the feature, so you can play.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't play multiplayer anymore. Like I just don't play. Black Ops 6 is so fucking boring. I'm so just. I hate.
Still play Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah. True. I don't think the battle.
You bought cosmetics for it. You gotta play.
Yeah. But
Mr. Mindful.
I just realized something. You know, I like if Battlefield is gonna be a platform and so on.
Yeah.
What I liked about Modern Warfare 3, Cold War, and Vanguard before Modern Warfare 2 is that no matter which game you played, your Battle Pass progression was the same. So you progressed no matter which game you play.
Yeah.
These days, you can't go back to Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2 and level up your Battle Pass in Warzone. You have to play either Warzone or Black Ops 6 to finish your Battle Pass. I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, I hate that change. I understand why it happened, because Warzone 1 was basically still Modern Warfare 2.19 client, so it was kind of easier to track, I guess. But I kind of hate the fact that you can't finish your Battle Pass in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 this year with the new Black Ops game. You won't be able to finish your Battle Passes in Black Ops 6 because you'll have to play the new Black Ops game and the new Warzone or whatever the case may be. I hope they change that, because I would love to play all the Call of Duty games and still finish my Battle Pass. Yes, I cannot use my content from the Battle Pass in those games. Duh, obviously. But let me finish.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, let me finish it, but it still sucks. That's
Yeah.
Then I wanted to say in the... Yeah, sorry for interrupting. It will happen again. I'm really sorry. But that's another thing with me and mindful spending is, you know, every year new Call of Duty comes out and you can't take your cosmetics with you.
Apparently you will be able to carry the cosmetics from this game to another game. Because it's another Black Ops game. So,
oh, shut up.
Yeah, I know. I know it's not the same. But apparently they're doing the thing again. You know, it's like Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7. You know, same thing.
No thanks.
Whatever. I really don't care. It's another Black Ops game. I'm already checked out. I'm happy with Verdansk. I'm happy with Warzone, and I'm just waiting for Modern Warfare 4 for next year. And of course, for the Battlefield game, whether it be this year or next year, I don't know. But my bet is it's next year. And some people say it's gonna. They can't see. A lot of people want it for this year. They really want Battlefield for this year, and I'm like, you haven't played Battlefield games that much that you understand. to understand why a lot of Battlefield players like, no, just take your time. It's fine. We can wait 6 months. No need to release it this holiday season. You can release it in March. It's fine. Like, I'm in that camp. I'm like, it's fine. Take your time. You have Battlefield Labs. Use it to your advantage. Don't waste this opportunity to release a really good game, right? You have the data. You have the players. You have the foundation. You have the tools to make a great Battlefield game. Use that. And if you need a bit of extra time to use all those tools to make a great Battlefield game, use it. Don't release it prematurely just because GTA is not there. It's not in the quote. What's the word I'm looking for? Not quotation. In the scene, right? GTA6 is not in that time frame anymore. It's fine, but be smart about it, right? Of course, yeah, we all know that Andrew Wilson is definitely listening to our podcast. Definitely, like, he understands. He listens to us every day. He goes to work in his Bugatti or whatever. I don't know what car he has, but
Definitely not a Bugatti.
I don't fucking know. They live in a different world, honestly. But anyway, it's just. I mean, I'm looking forward to this next new game. We'll see. And I might as well end for the last 10 minutes. Might as well end the conversation on this. There's not much we discussed on this particular episode. It's mostly because we've been working stuff in the background. So I'll be busy at the end of the month for a little bit for other stuff, personal stuff. But regardless, we've been working on stuff in the background, and they'll yeah. I already mentioned that on the last. I think I mentioned on the last episode that we're working on a secret project. Well, might as well tell you right now that secret project we're working on is a website. Well, I know, revolutionary. A website. Oh no, we'll change everything. But you know what? Realistically, it will change everything for the podcast. So the reason why we haven't been doing a weekly podcast, well, one, because we don't want to, rush with the show and everything, because we want to analyze, see what kind of topics we can discuss that are actually meaningful discussions and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to just release the podcast just for the sake of it. So that's one. And again, still a monthly podcast. As long as you get one episode a month, we're still a monthly. We're still doing our, part, And for the last 4 months, how many episodes I said we released? 11 episodes.
No idea.
Yeah, 11. So this will be the 12th episode. That's a lot of episodes for the last 4 months for a monthly podcast. So yeah, so we've been working on the website in the background. I was thinking it's gonna take me a couple of weeks, right? Just should be easy. No, it's I was too ambitious with my deadlines and everything, and this website is really important for the podcast because it's basically there to preserve our work and history. So I don't want to lose our work anymore. I don't want to, I want to preserve it. I want to track everything. This will be some sort of wall of fame or whatever, history book or whatever you want to call it. This website is there to preserve our work, so we can always go back to it, see how our opinions change, what we discussed. Is there anything different we think about specific topic, whatever the case may be. That website is there to preserve our work and keep us updated with everything we're talking about and keep people updated what the hell we talked about. Some of the stuff we discussed are still relevant 10 episodes ago, Some of the stuff we discussed 10 episodes, 15 episodes ago, 30 episodes ago, still relevant to this day, And I kind of want people to go to those old episodes and listen to them because some important stuff was discussed in those episodes. And I want people to go back to it and listen to it. That's why I want to preserve the work on this website, all our hard work. I think I mentioned that on a Patreon or somewhere, or maybe last episode. When you, we did 36 episodes right now. This is 37th episode. It's like, oh, 37 episodes, that's nothing compared to other podcasts and everything. Like, people go 500, 600, whatever the case may be. Like, but then you put, 36, 37 episodes on a list. That's a lot of fucking episodes. That's a lot of discussions. That's a lot of content. And I'm like, damn, that needs to be preserved in some shape or form, because we're gonna get lost. People are gonna get lost. So we're making some sort of system on the website to navigate all that, clutter. We need some sort of system to navigate all that stuff we discussed. And the point of the website we're making is literally just to be the number one destination for everything Battlefield related. The podcast is there, but I understand, I've been saying this forever, not all of you have an hour to spare to listen, about Battlefield. I understand that. Sometimes you just want to Google the information you want and get the information, when's the release date? Oh, what got leaked? What kind of interesting discussions were, discussed and so on. You just want to Google that and quickly learn it in 5 minutes and just leave it be. So that's kind of the point of this website. It's be that destination for your quick Battlefield news. So it'll be a challenge to update everything on a regular basis, but that's the goal. And of course, it will there to promote the podcast, and because we're gonna promote the podcast, it will help us to produce more content, because hey, we're promoting the podcast for the bigger audience that is outside the Battlefield community, because people will look for Battlefield news and everything, they will find us. I mean, hopefully. And yeah, it's just basically marketing and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, and because we have a Battlefield related podcast and we can produce more content from our podcast, basically expand the conversations we had on the podcast to a bigger audience in written form, all that kind of stuff, that's great. That's a win-win in our eyes, I think, because it just, like I said, preserves our work and it creates more content for people to enjoy in the long run. Of course, when the website is going to be up, it won't be perfect. Let me tell you right now, it won't be perfect. It's still going to be work in progress as it launches. Also, I had to cut some features out. Literally had to cut some features out because it's like I want to have like a login page and everything. I'm like, great. But then I realized, like, wait a minute. There's not only that's loads of work, that's also loads of legal stuff that I need to deal with first. For example, I was thinking like, oh, you can log into the website and get our Patreon content from there. Right. Sounds great on paper. But then you have to like legally this thing, like, are we making money from the BattlefieldOne podcast? Are we making content from our Patreon? Like the loads of question marks, loads of legal stuff that you need to sort it out, because like as soon as you take money from people, that's what the problem is, right? That's what the problem is. As soon as you take money from people for your Patreon content and all that kind of stuff, Patreon sorts that. That's what Patreon does. The Patreon is doing that financial bit for supporting the creator. If I take that in-house on my own website, on our website, on the BattlefieldOne website, suddenly that's all on me. I have to be responsible for all the, payment details, make sure the data doesn't leak, that someone doesn't hack the website, all that kind of stuff. Like that's on me now. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that yet. At least not yet. We're not in that position yet. We're not even close to that position the way like we can afford to deal with that. So I'm like, no. So no. So the initial release for the website will be very basic. Basic as in like there will be no ads. So I don't want to put any ads on the website. I want you to go on the website, have a smooth experience with everything, and just straight to the point, get your news, go listen to your podcast you want to listen, whatever the case may be, explore our work, everything. And if people want to, like, let's say, sponsor, right? Sponsor the podcast, all that kind of stuff. So far, we're only sponsoring ourselves because with the Patreon. If the sponsors want to come in and everything, well, we have a website. Also, it's going to make things easier to, drag people somewhere. So when we, promote ourselves, at the start of the episode, right? Instead of me telling you, oh, go check our socials, leave a rating, go check Google Forms document and everything, I'm just going to say, no, just go to BattlefieldOne podcast website and find everything you need there. Simple as that. Just go to the website and find everything you need there. I think it will make things easier for us in terms of promotion, make the podcast a much easier listening experience. And I think I'm looking forward to it. Like, there's loads of work. People, you have to realize how much time and effort it takes to go through all our old episodes, come up with the layout, come up with the, what's the structure, how we want to preserve this, and so on, how we can make it easily digestible. There's so much work that needs to be done behind the scenes to make this a somewhat tolerable experience for you to go through all our work. This is just 36, 37 episodes, right? But you also have to remember, before this, we had 42 episodes. So we almost close to 100 episodes. And go through each episode, get all the information, get all the topics, what we discussed, who said us a very hot take, who had some interesting opinion, or whatever the case may be. I'm all by myself. Like, if I had people working and help me with this, sure. But there's so much freaking work. So I'm sorry if the website is not coming out as soon as I said is coming out. This whole month of May, we'll release another BattlefieldOne podcast episode for this month, for sure. But this is just gonna be me working in the background, making sure the website is being built, and hopefully at the end of the month, we'll have a working website, and from there we can continue growing. Then we can start promoting it, then we can start, getting some marketing, promote the podcast to other people, and bring some new audience and so on. Like, we'll have some sort of foundation. And like I said, every self-respecting podcast, I think, should have a website, honestly. Because it's just like the number one destination, like, for you to get anything about the podcast. Whatever the case may be. Socials, links, history, whatever the case, like, whatever. And pick anything you want about the podcast. You want to learn about the podcast or be engaged in some shape or form. The website is like the number one spot. And also, listen, I'm only working on the desktop version. I will have to optimize this for mobile. Like, 50% of I can't remember. I need to check the stats again. Last time, I think I said like 60-70% of our audience is literally on mobile. So,
really, that's interesting. Didn't know that.
Fun
fact.
I mean, I can quickly check as I'm just.
No, you don't have to, but that's.
I know.
But
I
mean, that it's above 50% really surprises me.
It's definitely above 50. Well, but that kind of makes sense because it's mostly audio focused thing. But yeah,
true again.
Yeah,
still.
So if all of you are literally on mobile, that means I have to optimize the website for mobile too, because like, hey, you're listening on Spotify or whatever, you need to click on the link, you're gonna open it on your phone, so that the website has to work on the phone. That makes sense. For example, here you go, let's see. I think I said last episode, maybe I said on Patreon, I don't remember. I think I said on the Patreon with Ray. I said that 45% is on Spotify, 26% is on Amazon Alexa.
Oh damn, that's also cool.
That's a stat I never imagined to hear. 10% on a web browser, 10% on Apple Podcasts, and 7% is some other stuff, like some third-party places, like whatever the case may be. Which, interesting stats. I actually never imagined like seeing Amazon Alexa there. Like, haha. So people just making their food or whatever, and they just listen to us. Like, great. Great.
Sure, why not? I hope you're enjoying your meal.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, like whatever. Yeah, thank you for listening to us on Amazon
Have a
Alexa.
safe drive or whatever.
Oh yeah, could be driving, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. For example, our audience is the country-wise. For example, 40% is from United States, 23% is from United Kingdom, 6% from Germany, 5% from Canada, 4% from Sweden, 3% from Poland, 3% from Norway, then Finland, Ireland, Denmark, and then we go below 10% is like Netherlands, Australia, Thailand, Mexico, New Zealand, Brazil, and so on. Loads of countries. Estonia, Belgium.
We are aiming for world domination, baby.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, some behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, we're making a website. This website I think will be very cool will push the podcast so much forward. Like also me, Ray, and Andre had like a team meeting recently. I did record it, so maybe I should post some of it on Patreon.
No, fuck that shit. I'm not going to do that.
maybe they because they have to understand what it takes to produce this freaking show. You know, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah,
it takes a lot
know
of
what
effort.
it takes. You know what effort it takes. You hop on Discord and you talk.
Well, who's making the notes?
I don't give a shit. It's not me.
yeah, exactly. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're making a website. The website is gonna be really cool, loads of work and everything. So sorry that this is not gonna, this episode is not a lot like Battlefield discussions or everything, but mostly because we're working in the background. Loads of stuff happening in the background, and the new game is coming. So we're not going away regarding that. Like the new game is coming one way or another. There's gonna be loads of new episodes when it comes to the new game, and when the playtest is gonna be more public and so on. It's like good times ahead. The way I see it, good times ahead. And having all this foundation built in for the future, I think it's fantastic and perfect. So yeah. Andre, anything else you want to mention? Anything that is on your mind? Anything that is like maybe discuss quickly?
I want GTA 6.
Touche. What about GTA 6 and Battlefield?
Also, it has 17 million views in 3 hours.
Yeah. I'll change.
What did you say?
No, nothing. Unpopular opinion, I really don't care about GTA 6 that much.
What? I'm going to get a PS5 for it.
Oh yeah, I forgot it's not gonna come in on freaking PC originally. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, listen real quick. A friend of mine wants to get rid, or maybe the viewers can tell me if it's a good deal.
Use the Google Forms document in the description, people.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the show notes.
You got
use
it.
it.
Okay. Whoever's going to answer me, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks up until the 24th of June. Up until then, I need to make a decision. A friend of mine is selling his PS5, the fat one, not the slim one, with a never used controller, still, wrapped in its original packaging. And he wants 300 euros.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I should pull the trigger on it or not.
Not a bad price.
Let's decide. Let the podcast decide.
Yeah,
make a
audience, come
poll
on.
or something.
Audience, come on. Should he pay those 300 euros for that PS5 fat one? Come on, people. Let us know. All right. Other than that, I got nothing else. So, you want to try the outro? Do you still need notes for that?
Give me notes.
I have no notes. I literally don't have notes.
Wait, you want the intro or the outro?
Outro.
No, you do it.
Okay, anyway. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for listening to BattlefieldOne podcast. Thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you for sticking around. And 37 episodes of this godforsaken podcast show about Battlefield. God help us all. Of course, follow our links, follow our, show notes and everything. Patreon, of course, patreon.com/TheLankySoldier. Exclusive content. Website is coming soon too. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll see how the investor call is gonna go. I actually forgot it's happening today. Playtest happening on Friday, so there's gonna be more leaks and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's gonna it. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for everything, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Bye.